Okay, let's get started. This is a Virtuous Rose coming at you first time in 2019. We're going to talk about the virtuous woman. I think it's an excellent topic to start it off with. And so let's just dig into it. So they say that there are more women living today in this world than men. I don't know what you think about that, but let's take a look at it. It says we can agree or disagree with it, but I believe that the women play a very significant role in today's economic, social, cultural, psychological, governmental, family, and educational employment sectors. We're going to talk today about a young lady in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verses 1 through, looks like it's going to be 30 some verses, but we won't be reading it all. So just take a minute and you read it for yourself just to catch up with us. But what we're going to do is we're going to delve into what this virtuous woman was all about. First of all, this virtuous woman was an individual in the Bible of the Old Testament, book of Proverbs, and she had numerous characteristics. She had numerous traits. She had numerous skills, numerous talents. She had numerous abilities. So let's just dig in and see what she's got going on. This young lady, before I go into any further, I'll give a description of what a woman is. A woman is a human adult, being a female person or gender with distinctively feminine nature, attributes, characteristics, feelings, and emotions. Okay, then we'll talk about what is a virtuous woman. Well, a virtuous woman is someone having or showing high moral standards, righteous, good, moral, ethic. She's upstanding. She is high minded. She's right minded. She's right thinking. She is loyal. She's kind. She's clean. She's a law abiding citizen. She is a principled, a disciplined individual. She has a godly and incorruptible spirit. She's blameless. She's guiltless. She is irreproachable. She's honest. She's just. She's true. She's her reputation just surpasses her. She is decent. She's respectful. She's loving. She's noble. Meritus. She's trustworthy. She's elevated. Praiseworthy. The list just goes on and on and on and on and on. So, what does this mean? And what am I saying? Well, we're talking about a virtuous woman in 2019 and what that looks like. So let's continue a little bit further. Before we go into a little bit of that, we'll go into what is character. So, character of this young lady, um, basically, a character is the mental or moral qualities distinctive to an individual. It's the person's personality, it's the person's nature, their disposition, their persona, their mental, their temperance, their psyche, their mold. It's what makes them what they are. So, the character of this young lady is someone that has to be of good rapport. Now, you've also heard people talk about an aura of a person. So we'll talk about an aura of a person. I'm trying to get all of this out at this moment because when we get talking about this young lady, then all this will come together. So let's just stick with me for a minute and walk around the words with me. So the word aurora means a distinctive atmosphere or quality that seems to surround or be generated by a person, place, or thing. It's also the emotional, mental, and spiritual levels that form an energy field around the body. So let's say a person has an aura of always being positive, always being happy, always being smiling, always basically in a upbeat attitude and posture. And so that person would be called maybe someone like sunshine. She brings sunshine, or she brings delight, or she brings excitement. So that type of person has an aura about them that is a productive and a positive attitude nature. Then we'll talk about poise. What is the word poise? We don't hear that word too often today, but we're talking about a virtuous woman in 2019, so I think it's very important that we take a look at it. Poise is graceful and elegant bearing in a person, spirit in a person, balance, grace, control, presence, or equilibrium. So a person with a good poise, you hear people talk about, well, you have a good poise, and you be like, what does that mean? Well, good poise means you sit up straight, you are upright in your positioning, you have a good body posture. You can also have a good attitude posture, and you can also have a negative attitude posture. So let's just take a look at it. We're dealing with the virtuous woman, so let's talk about it. Do you know if you are a virtuous woman? That question is just a blanked out question. I'm not trying to throw no slurs, or I'm not trying to offend anyone. We're just kind of talking. So let's talk about it. If you are, let's see. Okay? Today I'm going to share a few nuggets about the virtuous woman who fears the Lord. Okay? The virtuous woman who basically is a woman of God. This type of woman carries a crown and an aura that exalts her above all of the rest of the women. Hmm. It parades her around like she is a diva, and nothing or no one else can ever come close to her status. So you might say, well, what are the characteristics of a virtuous woman? Well, let's look at it. According to Proverbs chapter 31, we're looking at verse 10 through 31. It talks about the virtuous woman as a family mother. She's a woman, she's a wife. She's a merchant. She's a businesswoman. She's submissive yet influential. She is a provider, hardworking. She's strong but teachable. She's a shining light of confidence and poise. She's profitable and blessed. She's fearless but fears the Lord. She covers her family in and with her love. She's a harvester. She's a reaper. She's a manufacturer. She's a distributor. She represents royalty. She's full of wisdom. She's full of love, knowledge, and kindness. So, let's just dig into it and see what does that really look like. This virtuous woman in 2019, we're talking about. She is a woman of noble character. We talked about that character before. She is a woman that is capable of managing her own and handling her own business. Not talking about a whole bunch of words, a whole bunch of mouth, a whole bunch of attitude. Talking about the real deal and using her mind to think. She's a problem solver. She's a person who generates wealth through her problem solving skills. She generates wealth through her ability to work through things, and her ability to talk, and her ability to communicate, her ability to make things happen. So let's talk about the one that's in Proverbs. She was diligent. She extends herself into the marketplace. That means she considers the field and she buys it. So she's an investor. Okay, she's involved with weaving and sewing. So what she does is she'll take a spindle, and this is the woman of old days, but we still can use different things in today's world to make profit and to make income for our family. So she is a producer of fine linen. She was a producer of wool. She was a producer of flax. She was a producer of all types of materials that you used or they used in the past to provide coverage for themselves and protection. All right. She was like a merchant ship. She was bringing merchants in from other places. She was a person who provided for her family. Though she had responsible for her household, and she basically got up early in the morning. She handled her business as it related to preparing her food. She went into the vineyard and she retrieved the vegetables that were needed for the day. She was energetic. She was excited about preparing and making ways for her family and her husband. She planned ahead. She managed her time. She used wisdom. She was a government mind and a business manager. She was a diligent worker, so she wasn't lazy. She wasn't complaining. She didn't have a whole lot of issues going on. And if she did, she didn't complain about it. She was just. She was a wise lady. She was an actual game changer. So let's go to it. Are you a virtuous woman of 2019? Do you have these traits and these qualifications, characteristics that I just described? Well, you know what? If you do, super wonderful. If you don't, let's just see how we can make that happen and work for you. Okay, so when it comes down to it, okay, if you are this virtuous woman, You are certainly a force to reckon with. And you know what? I'm proud of you, sister. I'm proud of you that you know what you're doing, that you are able to focus, that you are able to keep things going for your family and for your life. You, one thing that you need to understand is you are not, I repeat, you are not to be underestimated. You are not to be disrespected. You are not to be unappreciated. So, I'm going to do a sidebar here. If you are in the, I would say, environment or around people who do not appreciate you, do not understand your worth, do not value you, and do not understand who you are, you may want to try to find another set of friends to hang around with, because they will not encourage you. You need to find someone who will. And if they don't encourage you, you need to encourage yourself. So here's some little nuggets I'd like to leave with you. Okay, a virtuous woman, you must be able to first recognize that you are valuable and that you are loved by God. Okay, that's the first point. If nobody loves you, that's okay. Because you need to realize that God loves you, and you need to understand that because God loves you, He has a plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11 states that He says, I know the plans that I have for you. He says they are of good and not evil, to give you an expected end. God already knows what end He's going to provide for you, so just let it happen. Okay? In order to be a virtuous woman, you must have something to give. Don't be stingy. Don't be selfish. It's okay to open up your hand to give to someone, because the same way you open your hand to give someone is the same way they'll put something back into your hand, and it could bless your heart. It could bless your mind. All right? Then you have to be someone with some, I would say, substance. You have to have something that is going to be worth something. Don't just give a whole bunch of words and a whole bunch of talk and a whole bunch of attitude. Give love. Give peace. Show kindness. Go and spend some time with someone and to love on them just a little bit. Call them. Just see how they doing. It could be your mother. It could be your sister. It could be your father. It could be your husband. Yeah, it could be him too. So do that. Spend some time. All right. You must be respected. Now, again, I said if anybody does not respect you, you need to vacate that friendship or relationship and find someone who will respect you, because you are to be respected. You are to realize that you are a godly woman and that you believe, depend, and you love and honor God. Okay? Everything does not love God. Everything does not honor God. And you need to be able to point it out and discern it, what it is. So you continue to love and honor God. You must also, to be a virtuous woman, be willing to reject anyone who has tried to condemn you, tried to convince you that you are not important, that you are not special, and you must refuse to live beneath your privileges. So many times and too often do we ladies live beneath our privilege because someone told us we can't do this, and someone said we shouldn't do this, or someone said it's never been done before. Okay, well, God didn't tell me it was never done before, and God didn't tell me I couldn't do it. So whose report are you going to believe? I'm going to believe the report of the Lord. I want you to know that in order for you to be a virtuous woman in this 2019, you must proclaim that you are. You must declare that you are. And you must prevail in your life that you are. So, in order to show that you're a virtuous woman, make it happen, okay? If you are this virtuous woman, I tell you what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the little bell, the notification bell on your screen, so that you can receive more notifications from the Virtuous Rose and the videos that are yet to come. Okay, well, my time is up, so I want you to holler at me, drop me a comment, give me your thoughts about who you are, about why you are a virtuous woman, or about someone you know that is living or has passed on that has been a virtuous woman that was in your life. So at the end of the day, our goal is to strive to be a virtuous woman. At the end of the day, our goal is to strive to love God, love our families, and to prevail in everything that we have to do according to what we're called to do. Let us be that virtuous woman today, tomorrow, and the rest of our lives. God bless you. Take care.